Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we are going to talk about watching elegant, beautiful people, a group of elegant, beautiful people talking about Dungeons & Dragons at length, which I have never seen in my life, and this is truly a historic event, and this is all coming from this massive, comet hits the earth level, joy fest that is about to be Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Let's talk about this. So, count it all joy, brothers and sisters of the icosahedron. We are getting a absolutely mammoth change in what's happening with Dungeons & Dragons. There's a really massive, exciting change, right? And one of the things is I think one of the things that's really emerging with my channel is, I think I consider myself a presentorian, right? Like, a lot of people study the past of Dungeons & Dragons. I do study the past of Dungeons & Dragons, but to understand its present, I'm highly interested in the present of Dungeons & Dragons. I have interest in the past, I have interest in the future of Dungeons & Dragons, but I think my focus is the present of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm highly interested in the present because one of the things is, it's very clear to me, you cannot understand Dungeons & Dragons unless you are thinking very, very deeply. And the things that are happening on Dungeons & Dragons are unprecedented and fully unique. I don't think they really happen anywhere else. It is truly incredible and really special, right? So I want to talk to you about watching elegant, beautiful people talk about Dungeons & Dragons at length, and I have never seen this, all right? And there's a path to this, all right? So I watched this interview, and it is Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant, it is Sophia Lillis, it is Chris Pine, right? It's every hero and Hugh Grant, who plays a villain, right? And what's really interesting, it's very interesting because they have all the heroes of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, but they're also adding in, they're bringing in Hugh Grant as well, right? And I think the reason why they're doing that is just they want his star power there. He kind of grounds everything, right? And Chris Pine he's a good actor with billions of dollars in sales, for his films, ticket sales for his films. Michelle Rodriguez, but Hugh Grant is special. Like, he's been in Hollywood for decades. He's part of English and American history. Like, he is very extremely well known, right? And so they want him here. And so I'm watching this interview, and it was a bit it was really bittersweet. Okay, so one of the things, so I'm watching this interview, and there's an aspect of bittersweetness as I'm watching it, and the reason why is these Hollywood actors and actresses immediately move into this position where they're talking to this absolutely iconic, hi, you guys are Hollywood actors and actresses, and I'm an actress who's been in 3 television shows you've never seen, but I have a bit of charisma and I have Hollywood looks, and I'm going to ask you some softball questions, right? And what's interesting though is they start talking about the movie, and you see that the actors and actresses, apart from Hugh Grant, really know quite a bit and took this very seriously. And I'm telling you, man, Michelle Rodriguez, Sophia Lillis, Chris Pine, Justice Smith, Renee Jean Page, they took this very seriously, did a lot of research, and really tried to bring their A game to this film. Hugh Grant's like, this is another movie, I don't give 2 rats, right? And he is definitely in the I don't give 2 rats stage. I just saw an interview of him, I think it was at the Oscars, and this iconic, when you hit Hollywood, right, you have to, it's astounding. Hollywood will put reporters up who don't have any real questions, right? And this is expected. Variety, all kinds of outlet are like, you don't have to, you don't want to press these people. Many of them are not too intelligent. They're just good looking. And so just kind of throw them some softball questions. And then even the reporter's like, we didn't hire a reporter here who can think and write. Like, we just hired a reporter who can, like, looks good on camera and is going to ask some questions, right? This, we're not, and I was a little sad to see, like, just people talking about D&D people with people who aren't smart, right? And don't really think deeply, right? And this is what we're talking about today, okay? These softball questions in this interview, right? And actually around the table, like, everybody was like, Chris Pines is like, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? And the person was like, I've studied Dungeons and Dragons, but I've never played it. And he's like, why didn't you play Dungeons and Dragons? And she said, I was shocked by this. You know what she said? She said, I was afraid. I was afraid to play Dungeons and Dragons because I didn't think I would be good at it. Boy, I'd love to unpack that here, but like, maybe that'll be another video, right? But I was just astounded as and I'll put the link below for the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But the thing that really blew my mind here was I was looking at a group of elegant, beautiful people discussing Dungeons and Dragons at length. I've never seen that in my life. Why? Why haven't I seen that? Well, if you've been around and you know the path of Dungeons and Dragons literally started with a bunch of nerds in a basement, right? And nerd had meaning in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. In the 2000s, it started to change, right? And nerds came up and were like, oh my gosh, we're getting dates and people are paying attention to us because we have money and we understand computers, right? And because our hyper focus on detail can actually convert into jobs, and we started getting jobs. And not only did we start getting jobs, we started ruling, like literally leading companies and leading, and doing startups and actually getting money, and we mattered, right? 2010, nerd ain't nothing but an eccentric leader. Like, that's all. Nerd is a word that should be retired. It is completely meaningless today, right? It has no meaning, right? Like today. It really means I'm your boss and I'm a little more eccentric than you, right? That's all nerd means today. There's like, because back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you did stay in your basement and you got your books knocked out of your hand and you were on the bottom of the pile. Nerds ain't on the bottom of the pile anymore. This is a knowledge worker world. We rule, right? But let's not get it twisted. Me, you, we ain't elegant, beautiful people. Like, we never have been, right? But Hollywood, they got elegant, beautiful people. Not only do they have the most elegant, beautiful people in America, but the whole world sends us their best, right? I go over, I watch some international stuff, right? I watch Denmark stuff, like police shows. I watch, some shows from Europe. I watch some shows from like other areas of the world, right? Like, and I will tell you right now, like, I turn these things on and I'm like, you're the lead of this show. You couldn't even get booked as an extra in an American show, right? Like, and really, when it comes to elegance and beauty, Hollywood do what it do. And I was I was looking at this. I'm like, this is a whole group of elegant, beautiful people discussing Dungeons and Dragons. And I can tell you, I've never seen that in my life. Because first of all, nerds generally, the ones that came up through the 70s, 80s, 90s, not a one of them are elegant or beautiful. And the reason why is if they were, they wouldn't have to sit in their basement, right? Like, and they wouldn't be poring over thousands of pages. Like, they're out going to parties and, eating the finest cuisine and partying, right? Like, you don't sit in your basement if you can do all that. Right, but we did, and what's wild is we thought there was going to be a cost to it. There really wasn't any cost to it after all was said and done, because we rule the world now, because the world is all knowledge workers, right? So the people that are on top, right? And Lord help you if you got a manager's job today, man. Like, you do not want to stay there that long, because it's not gonna end well, in my humble opinion. So I'm looking at these people. It's a group of elegant, beautiful people. And you're like, wait a second, Scott. We've had some celebrities connected to Dungeons & Dragons for a while. Yes, we have. Again, no elegant, beautiful people. Vin Diesel, Robin Williams, Stephen Colbert. None of these are elegant, beautiful people, right? Oh, wait, Scott. What about Critical Role? Nice try. It's voice actors. We're like, again, you literally don't even see their face. They can't get their face on big, on television. That's changing a little bit. Ashley Johnson was just in Last of Us, right? So, but this movie, is $1 billion Bravo. This is changing things, right? And these are stunningly elegant, stunningly beautiful people talking about Dungeons and Dragons for an extended period of time. And you're like, well, Scott, why are you talking about it? I cannot tell you how important this is, right? Dungeons and Dragons is at the top, and everybody, and the reason why I keep talking about this is, you know, the OSR comes in there like, oh, all that matters is if you make a good game and it's got good rules. That's all the stuff that matters. Blah 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 blah. No, 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 no. Wrong. Right? Like, right? It's not all that matters, right? Like, and I don't know if you're paying attention, but America is choosing its presidents by celebrity, right? So you don't think that celebrity is going to affect what game wins the tabletop role-playing game industry? D&D is on top for a reason. And the OSR keeps lying to you and telling you that it's not good and it doesn't deserve its position, right? And that is a lie, right? Dungeons and Dragons now has a group of elegant, beautiful people talking about it. That has never happened again. And this is what I'm saying. The OSR, anybody talking about OSE, right? DCC, Pathfinder, they're light years away from achieving this, right? Because they don't even know it's the goal, right? Now, OSR's got a shot, right? Kelsey Dion, right? Young, innovative, right? Not repugnant to the Hollywood set, right? If she ends up, you know, if Kelsey Dion ends up talking to Michelle Rodriguez at some point, it's not going to look like a weird mismatch. Like, why is this, you know, basement troll talking to, you know, a creature that descended from heaven with seraph wings, you know, like, and this is my point. We're here, right? We have elegant, beautiful people talking about Dungeons & Dragons at length. This is a massive achievement, right? And even more than that, this is why the OSR suffers so much and never seems to be able to move the ball forward. And why, in my opinion, Kelsey Dion is their only hope, right? Their only hope, right? Because they don't even know, you can't win if you don't know what the rules are, right? You can't win if you don't know what the criteria to win is, right? And this is Dungeons & Dragons winning in ways that the OSR doesn't even understand. And that's why they continue to just get wrecked. Absolutely wrecked every time they step toward Dungeons & Dragons. Kelsey Dion, incredibly important figure in the OSR. One of the things is, right, I squawk my squawk, right? And I don't ever send my videos to people. Other people do. Other people send my stuff to the people I talk about, right? That's the way it rolls. And because I ain't gonna put my thumb on the scale, right? And I think somebody's going to start talking about Kelsey Dion and go, you got an opportunity. You got an opportunity to change the game for OSR. And you're about the only person in the world who has any chance of making the OSR matter in 2023. And if somebody talks to her and she says, oh my gosh, yep, I could take Arcane Library and pass Paizo. I can become the face of the OSR. D&D could have a real problem, right? And there's going to be billions of dollars on the table because I think D&D Honor Among Thieves is about to put a turbo on the butt of D&D. And that thing is going to shoot forward big time. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.